I'm Christopher, and I'm going to be refuting Alexander's claim that music is essential to human health and behavior. His secondary claims were music is one of the most effective ways of improving creativity. Music benefits our brain activity, and music is one key to ensuring good health. So his first secondary claim, music is one of the most effective ways of improving creativity. He supported this with an article at CyberClick saying that Steve Jobs, one of the most creative people that was alive, these were his 10 songs that inspired him. Upon looking into the article itself states that these songs were just 10 of his favorite songs, not that they actually created any inspiration in him, that he just liked them. So I don't see where the actual jump went from in the article, from he liked these to they inspired him. Because I like the Pokemon theme song, but I don't go running around the country. So, and he also goes on to say that music creates, it's the quickest way to get into this mind-wandering mode. Now, lyrical music in particular, it's very, very wordy, there's a lot of wordplay, there's a lot of wit in it. I don't see how you actually get into a mind-wandering mode unless you're just using it as background noise. In which case you could just use silence, or you could use just white noise just to enter into that mind-wandering mode. Because for me, music is very engaging. I think when I'm listening to music, because I'm trying to see all the meanings and all the metaphors that they're presenting. His second secondary claim is that music benefits our brain activity. He goes on to cite this with Bell Cooper's analysis, which struck me as odd. She posted this on a random blog page called Buffer App. She has her own website, she has her own blog that she owns the site for. Why she posted it on a third-party site, I have no idea. But the main thing that he uses here is that a 2012 study showed that cyclists who listened to music required 7% less oxygen to do the same as those who cycled in silence. This in itself is misleading, because it's actually a quote from another article, which is summarizing a paper, a study that was done. And the study in itself, the claim itself was, the present results indicate that exercise is more efficient when performed synchronously with music than with musical tempo is slightly lower than the rate of the cycle movement. This isn't saying that cycling with music is better than cycling in silence. It's saying that if you cycle in a rhythm with music, it's better. It's saying that if you can sync up with something, you're going to be more efficient. And so I found that a bit misleading. And then he goes on to say that motivation will help, music creates a better motivational atmosphere, that it will go on and it will help you study better, it'll help you learn, and it'll help you retain what you learn better. But motivation itself holds little merit. You could say that about anything. If I motivate myself, I can run a 5-minute mile. If I motivate myself, I can hold my breath for 3 minutes. You can say motivation will help you do anything, but that's kind of a backless claim. And then a more direct approach was you could use logic and memory-based puzzles. Those are a much more direct way than just listening to music, to train your brain for logical scenarios and memory, to help your brain retain memory. And then his third secondary claim is that music is one key to ensuring good health. And then he says that music reduces stress and anxiety, and that it helps improve immune function. Well, so does exercising and eating right. There are other ways than music to take care of your body and have a better life. And then he cites a Huffington Post article, which in itself, upon reading the entire article, it actually states that some of the studies that they cite should be taken with a grain of salt, because they don't actually believe that a lot of the stuff that correlation will imply the causation there. Like that studying with music of a certain tempo will make you study better. they suggest to take it with a grain of salt because there's not really a lot there with the study. And so, in conclusion, with a good portion of his actual sources that he cites, they're conflicting with his argument when you actually look into the articles and the studies that the articles themselves are citing. I find it hard to believe that music is essential for better human health and for human behavior.
All right, Christopher, you did a pretty good job pressing the argument on most of these issues, suggesting that the advocate is either not fully explained what the evidence means or that they're making inferences that are not supported even by the evidence that they present. I like the idea of the analysis of the individual pieces of evidence. The Steve Jobs thing gets you started on that process. I do think that you want to have direct quotes on that. This may be one of the one exception here because it sounds like the advocate is paraphrasing what the article said, and that you are kind of counter-paraphrasing what the article said. I don't know if there's a specific sentence or line in the article that would have clarified it for either side, but I think that you kind of reasonably put some doubt in our mind as to how accurate that is. The mind-wandering thing, I like your personal example on this as an illustration of that, music being complex, and that the lyrics, of course, make demands on us that may have the opposite effect. There might be some argument about the preponderance of how people listen to music nowadays. For instance, to me, I think one of the valid criticisms that you could be making, and maybe a good counterclaim, is that the forms of music that people are consuming right now are unlikely to have this kind of effect. And that if there is any true relationship here, it's the music that is least listened to that produces those particular benefits. And I think that might have diminished the argument a little bit as well. On your second point, I think that you have a reasonable challenge on the notion that we're being quoted a secondary source that's actually being quoted on a third-party site. I don't know how important that is, but I do think that you have a much clearer analysis of the evidence on this point. Again, I think a direct quote would be helpful, but your summary of what you are saying the argument says suggests that it really has to do with not what kind of music they're listening to, but whether or not it synchronizes with their activity, that kind of thing, and that it's not the absence of music that creates this, but whether or not the music fits with the activity that's going along with it. And I thought that that was a good press on that. Like I said, it would be so much more helpful if we had the direct quotes on that, and you could cite the source right back to the advocate on that particular point. The motivational issue, I think you've got a good press here that says, look, you could get the same kinds of things from other sorts of activities. I think that that's a reasonable press to make. It would be helpful if you had any evidence to back it up. But, your assertion, their assertion, I can see why there might be a little bit of a push on that. And then on the third point, good health, I think it's pretty reasonable to suggest, look, there are lots of ways to achieve health that have nothing to do with listening to music. You might concede that music's unlikely to have a negative effect on people's health, although there might be some claims on that issue. I'm not exactly sure that that wouldn't be an unreasonable challenge to make there. And once again, I think you need a direct quote on the criticism of the evidence on that point. All right, thank you.